Welcome to the Riders Lounge. I'm Shane Johnson, and today we're going to discuss 30 years of 32 with my good buddy Reed from 32. All right, Reed, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Stoked to be here.
This is great. Well, I've managed to pull in a few of the reps from Western Canada. We've worked with Reed a really long time, and we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. 30 years of 32.
Yeah, since 1995. Moving and grooving,
That's
making
crazy.
great boots. So
That's crazy, because I remember day one when it dropped. I might be older than you, so I do remember when it all happened. We were selling it back in the day, not at Tribute, but another shop I worked at. And over that time, why I pulled Reed in the first place is there's been one boot that's just been a staple on our wall. And we're going to start there. It's one you guys are probably familiar with, but it's worth talking about. It's the Team 2.
totally.
I mean, if you're going for the most badass boot those guys make for not the extreme side of cash, not the top tier, but I've always found that this is the one that was accessible to everybody. Pricing wasn't crazy, but if you're doing 100 days a season, that's the boot.
Yeah, 100 plus for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have a lot of pro riders that are putting days in these boots. They'll run a full season in a single pair, and they'll start the next season in that same pair. You know?
Nice. Well, let's grab it. So we have two models here. Reed's going to take us through the guts of both of these. This is a boot. We're going to talk about another one later that's a little more mid-flexing than this. But if I'm doing a bank slalom, if I'm doing anything where I want edge now, I want, true flex to just be immediate, kind of picking between these two unless I go to the absolute top dog.
Totally. Yeah, just having something that's going to be stiff and supportive, right? Give you that fast, edge-to-edge control, but be there for you when you're taking a big landing, and give you that kind of support so that you're not having to pick yourself back up off the ground, right? It's going to act like a spring and do a lot of that work for you.
And it's really been, I want to talk about this one because it is a bestseller in our shop, probably top 3 over 20 years, without question, probably top 3. Let's talk about the exoskeleton of this.
Totally.
They use the Michelin
outsole, yeah, with an energy foam midsole on there. So you're getting a foam midsole, nice and lightweight, good impact absorption. But then you have the Michelin for a little bit of grip, a little bit of durability, right? Kind of give you the best of both worlds there. Good thing with using Michelin is they basically they make us a custom compound just for 32. We work with them on that. Get our lugs set, and then making sure that it's going to be nice and grippy no matter those conditions. If it's -10, -20, or +5, it's going to feel the same. It's going to give you that consistent flex.
Yeah, it's if you know the Michelin X-Ice winter tire,
Totally.
it's almost that feel. So it is going to be grippy in the parking lot. I've always really liked this for split boarding too because it's a really sturdy base. It's not flexing out too much, and it's definitely for when you're side hilling and you need the boot to help you, this has been one of the good ones.
Totally. Yep. On the upper, obviously in your Team 2 XLT, we have this power strap up top. Regular Team 2, you don't have that. You're running just like a regular 2-zone system.
Yep.
XLT, this was originally built for the Bone Zone, the Brighton crew. The Diggers over there, right? So it's got the Diggers call out on it. But for your upper, with a lot of 32 boots, and one of our kind of biggest pieces that we like to talk about is our articulated cuff, right? This is huge for us. You can see how far back that's sewn, right? That makes this essentially a 2-piece upper of a boot, giving you like a really even flexing pattern, basically a broken-in shell feel, where it's going to be its stiffness for a lot longer of a time, because it's going to already want to flex in a certain direction.
Well, and then you don't get I've talked about this before, but then you don't get that blowout zone that starts to happen if you're just running a stitch there and it's a one piece.
Totally.
This is allowing that. So, I talk about split boarding, it's going to help with that. But anyone throwing a proper method is going to benefit from that too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Gives you that good flex.
Yeah, up the spine, you've got a nice TPU molded backstay, right? So that's your your stiffness, a lot of that's coming from that rock solid spine. And then on the outer of the boot, we do this kind of grid pattern. You see it there. That's on both of them. It essentially just is a great way of adding structural support without adding too much weight. So giving that boot some extra life, but doing it in a way that's like clean, easy, kind of like, you know, adding rebar to concrete, right? It's really just adding that support to the outer of the boot.
Yeah, we often run into, I do a lot of boot fitting too, and some brands right around here with the tongue, Reed, we should talk about the tongue because you guys have kind of nailed it.
Totally.
You know, 32s, what's the terminology they use for the tongue?
So it's our 3D molded tongue. There's no stitching, obviously. You'll see no stitching down the middle of that.
And you don't get that bite zone. And that's why, you know, people with problem feet, I'll often go here too, because that's one of those things I know I can avoid right away.
Totally.
It's just clean. It flexes so nice and doesn't give you that pressure.
Yeah, very even flexing pattern through that. Yeah, clean all the way through, right? One new update to the Team 2 this year. We've added in a little neoprene snow gaiter underneath the laces. You can see it a bit more visibly on the double boa. So that's just going to help keep some snow out, keep some warmth in, right? You'll notice it getting into the boot. It's a little bit tighter to get into it. Once you're set into the liner, you'll lock in past it. You won't feel it anymore. And usually after about 2 days of riding, it gives you a couple extra mils, loosens up, and gets super comfortable.
Well, let's talk about the liner because this is what 32 was known for. Back in the day, our pal Kevin Sansloan, you know, I try to tell the story right, but Kev was having issues with the original liner, and he had played around with what was Intuition Vancouver. Totally. He had messed around, thrown a few in, and it worked so damn well that he was able to, meeting of the minds, get the crew from Soltech together with Intuition, and
yeah,
you know,
and here we are,
here
right?
we are.
So, yeah, our second year in production, from what my understanding is, you could order your 32 boots with an Intuition liner. It was a hell of an upcharge, obviously.
Oh yeah, back then.
But nowadays, pretty much all 32 boots come with an Intuition liner. We've been working with them since 1996, the first brand in snowboarding to start working with them. And it's, you know, it's a great thing to get to work with them because they make the best, truly the best heat moldable liners on the market. They last a long time. They will really give you a customized fit. They're antimicrobial. They're warmer. Yeah, there's a lot of really great benefits to the Intuition liner. Still family owned and operated, based out of Vancouver, BC, which is cool too. So.
And heat molding is the key to these. I don't let a pair of 32s leave the shop unless somebody knows they want to break them in with their own. Some guys are like that because there is a theory where, well, I won't lose as much density if I just power through it. But often if you're fitting, especially if you're fitting your boots quite tight for performance fit, you got to heat mold these. You really do. We've got the heat stacker upstairs. It doesn't take long. And it's rare I let people leave without a heat mold. And it's night and day once you set your Achilles zone into it. And again, we should talk about the footbeds too.
Totally.
Because that's part of the process. But let's get a liner out here. All right, so the Performance Fit Intuition liner. This one is my favorite in the line. One thing you'll notice right away too, got these little homes for the donuts.
Totally.
And those donuts, you just slide them in. I know exactly how many I need for me now over the years. I've run this boot enough that I run 2 of the orange, either side, good to go. But as you ride this over time, you can add more. So you can always pack down that Achilles better. And it's such, like nobody else is offering anything like that. It's a pretty amazing way to get the J-bar or Achilles system to lock in.
Yeah, just the heel hold, right? I mean, that's essentially when a boot is done, right? Is when you're getting too much heel lift.
Yeah, and you're slopping around.
And you're slopping around. You're not getting that toe-to-edge control like you're looking for. You're lifting out of your boots. So trying to extend the life of the boot using that heel hold system and the donuts is a big part of our liners and just making sure that we offer that. One update to the Performance Fit liner this year is we've actually removed a 20-point star or something like that. It's a little foam star right on the ankle bone. It just makes it much more comfortable out of the box. I'm sure Morrison will give you a nice tight close-up look at that a little later on. But yeah, it essentially allows your ankle bones to just sit comfortably into that liner.
Yeah, you can feel that in there, yeah.
Yeah, and you just get sucked right back into the heel pocket right out of the box. So this has been a big update this season. Comfort out of the box has been noticeably better. And a lot of people have been avoiding the heat mold this season, which is kind of crazy.
Well, you do lose less density if you can power through. Like, it is true, I've got enough pals that do it. But I have a lot of guys too that if they're a size 9, they'll go down to the 8.5 and we will do a full pack out. So I'll put it on the stacker for 30 minutes sometimes, get them into that with the toe cap. There's also a toe cap that 32 sends us, goes over top of your feet, then the sock goes over, and that's designed to kind of blow out the toe box to the extent where we know it's not going to move anymore. And then we get that absolute perfect fit. You're locked in, and this fulcrum point's going to actuate immediately, basically.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this liner, it is so damn comfy this year, you're right. And I think I'll probably see less and less. Well, who knows?
I mean, everybody's got
the heat
different
mold.
feet.
Yeah.
Totally.
I push it, so.
Yeah. And everybody's got a different foot shape, a different thing that's going on there, right? So customizing that fit is a big piece of the intuition story and 32 story along the way, right?
Let's talk about that footbed too, because is it the one in there? No, it's this guy.
So yeah, there's 2 different ones. So from your Team 2 to your Team 2 XLT, you'll have 2 different footbeds.
This is out of the XLT.
That's out of the XLT. So
this
energy
is quite
foam.
Cool too. So now that's changing the arch.
Totally, yeah, adjustable arch support. So you can switch to 4 different sizes. There's a small, medium, large, and extra large. And yeah, you can get that customized arch support that you need. You get a nice molded heel cup as well on there, keeping that fatty part of your heel locked in so that you're not sliding around, hopefully just reducing heel bruising. If that fatty part can stay on the bottom, you're just safer, right? That fatty part can absorb the impact. If it can slide out of the way, your bone's exposed, you'll take the impact straight to your heel. So keeping that all locked in and tight there.
Well, that's very cool, man. And one thing I've noticed too over the years, working with different footbeds, if you can support somebody's arch and raise the arch a little bit, it actually pulls the toes back a bit. So in boot fitting also, if somebody has a good arch and it's not getting cradled, their foot's going to actually act a little longer because it's going to flatten out. So if you can cradle that, support it correctly, the toes will come back and you get a better fit.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's a really cool addition. So you'll see in the box there's colors for the different models, and I've definitely used that quite a few times. This is the one out of the standard TM2.
Yep.
So you still get that cradle. It's designed a little differently. You've got the anti-bruise in there.
Yep. Yeah, second density in the heel just to give you that bit of support. And then the ribbing up top, right? Try and keep your foot awake, right? So the way that we've
cool.
designed that is just to keep the blood flowing, keep your foot awake, rather than it getting flat and stale, especially when you're spending a lot of time in snowboard boots. You want to keep kind of that motion moving, right? Or that blood moving through your feet. So
no, that's awesome, Reed. Yeah, this, like I say, in the top 3 over probably 20 years, they're constantly evolving this boot. And for free riding, for the type of terrain we're in, but you'll also see this boot in the park all day long.
Totally.
Like TM2 is, I mean, the 32 team itself, a lot of guys on that boot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Scotty Stevens, right?
Yeah.
Phil Hansen, Austin Visentainer. We've got a lot of pro riders that love this boot. It's supportive, right? And then they just adjust it to their needs. So if they don't want it as stiff, they'll loosen off that front boa a bit. They won't have it fully cranked up. It'll give them a little bit more of an even flexing or a softer flexing boot. And if they're ready to go, they're hitting the bigger jumps. They're cranking every boa dial down. They're tightening up those boots so they have like a stiff, solid, supportive boot. So.
We learned that from Jeremy Jones too when he was in talking about his boots. He actually does leave the upper quite loose.
Yeah.
But the lower just, I mean, the guy is powerful and very strong, so he's able to do that. He can hold himself in a turn. But I thought that was pretty cool to know that he just isn't cranking that entire system all the time. Always manipulate your boots, and that's why I like a BOA. You can constantly change it to the kind of terrain or what riding style you're doing.
Totally, totally. And with 32, one of the things that we do to make sure that like you're still supported and well held in, even if you are adjusting those BOAs, is we do an internal harness system. So if you actually look down the inside of that boot, you'll see that we have this internal harness that's stitched directly to the spine of the boot as well as to the forefoot. So when you're in that liner and you have that inner lace tightened, it's still going to give you a quick, fast response rate. You leaning into the tongue, yes, you're kind of getting a little bit more room, but now you're just kind of getting that quick response rate because you're pulling on those interlaces, and you're still being held down quite well. So.
No, that's a term I always use with 32 is response. These boots from the outsole all the way to the internals, everything is designed to just give you that immediate. And that's why, I mean, even racing, when we do the bank slalom, like this is a boot choice that I usually go for that. Because for me, being lighter weight, that's a stiff boot for me.
Totally.
That's,
yeah.
you know, so speaking of this being a stiff boot, there's another one we really want to talk about because it's kind of the other one that's definitely top 5 without question for us upstairs. Could be top 3 in a lot of years for me too.
Yeah, for overall for 32, it's always number 1.
Yeah.
Right, like that is our
This
top
is the
selling
global
boot.
bestseller.
Yeah.
All right. So it's the 32 Lashed.
The Lashed,
with boas now.
Totally.
For years and years upstairs, I kept this tried and true and just stuck with laces because I still have those guys that are just die-hard lace. But when they added the value you get to get double boa with this boot at this price, this thing's killer.
Yeah,
this
469 bucks Canadian. Great flexing boot, right middle of the line, right about a 6 out of 10.
So when you're smaller guys like us, that's still a lot of boot. You know, that's a 6 out of 10, but if you're a 185-pound guy, 6 out of 10 is a little different than when you're 155.
Well, when I was drinking beers, I was a 185-pound guy. You know what I mean?
There we go. Different boot for you then.
Different boot for me then. I was
Yes.
riding Team 2 XLTs a little bit more.
See, kids, watch the beers. Anyway, yeah, the double boa on this was just such a wicked upgrade. And for the past 3 years now, we've been in fully. Just again, like I mentioned with the Team 2, adjustability and the ability to, even on the chair, just to get some blood flow to your foot.
Totally.
You know,
yeah.
just loosen everything up. But I know we started high and we've come down 1 tier. But what are some key features of the Lash that make this basically, you know, over 30 years, 32's best-selling boot?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most customizable boot that we make, right? So trying to give that customized fit to each and every customer, and doing that through kind of 2 simple pieces. One, obviously that articulated cuff, right? Driving that point home. This is a big piece, giving you that even flex, longer lasting shell. That's going to be your entire upper zoa, or upper boa.
Upper zoa.
Upper zoa. Side boa is going to handle that lower section. So that side boa is going to handle an independent eye stay over the forefoot. So what that does, it allows a wider foot to be able to get in there and snug up nicely.
Totally.
Narrower foot, they've got a deeper anchor point. So they're going to be able to pull from further, really wrap over the forefoot and secure themselves in. So yeah, super customizable in that aspect. Still getting a 2-piece outsole, so foam and rubber on there. Lightweight, not going to change density in the cold.
It seems lighter than a couple years ago, too, overall.
Totally. Yeah, we've been slimming up our lasts a little bit, you know, narrowing things up, toe to heel as well as width. But overall, we're still using a C-width last on the inside. So just slimming down how many materials we have on the outside.
And we get the neoprene this year, too. So
yeah,
for any of the backcountry guys, snowshoeing, splitboard, and anything like that, it's just when you're smashing a lot of powder, it's, you know, it's going to kind of accumulate around that zone, and this is just another thing to keep you dry. I've never had issues, though, getting wet in 32 boots. It's not something that happens.
Yeah.
Cool. No, this definitely lends itself to a little bit more of the freestyle riders in our area. We do have a park. I know we don't talk about it a ton, but like Talus and the younger crew on our team, they're usually running this boot. Tweakability's there a little more. You know, your medial lateral, you get a bit more movement. The other thing we didn't talk about, but this is another I like for backcountry, but it also just gives you, when I turn heel side, I like to actually stand quite straight, and I use a lot of angle. So this boot especially, Reed usually sends me the Lashed because I like the flex of this one. This allows me to stand up straight when I go to heel side, and just, if my high back's not pushing me forward, I can get all that relaxing I need. The other thing, if you are split boarding, you get those long strides. This will allow you to stand up straight and not constantly be forcing you forward, which I think is awesome. The third thing is, if you have a monster calf, all the 32 boots have that relief.
Yeah, a little bit of breakaway point there.
Is there anything else I missed on it? What else is that there for? That's the bulk of it,
That's
right?
the bulk of it. Yeah, I mean that's really what it is for. It's for a little bit of calf relief, right? You know, just trying to make that boot a little bit more comfortable in every point of riding. Whether you're leaning onto a rail, you're tweaking a grab, you're split boarding, whatever you're doing, just giving it that customizability, right? So every rider can really drive home their own path with it.
Yeah, yeah. We have a lot of women where it's usually a mix between the Team 2 and Lash, but for us, it's been this. I think because the Flex is just a little more chill, this has been, I think, our #1 for gals.
Yeah.
We definitely sell this boot to a lot of women. And again, that calf relief is just so important for everybody in this category.
Totally. One new piece on there, we've added a little TPU molded heel stay. So that little heel pocket there just helps with the ease of entry in and out of our phase bindings
Which
this
we got to
season.
talk about next. We've done one episode on these, but it'll be nice to, now we can discuss this one that just dropped.
Yeah, the Scotty Stevens Pro model.
So what's the difference between these two?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Colors.
Colors.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, Scotty Stevens' name. I think that one might actually be, no, that's a size medium too. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Same size. Yeah, that's it, really. We just want to give some respects to our pro riders, right?
Totally, totally.
Help them, you know, pay the bills. They're important pieces of marketing, obviously, and
Scotty's a legend too.
he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now and I like that we've gone back to that sort of 90s vibe here.
Totally.
Great logo. Your riding impressions on these. Fawcett and I have talked about it. I mean, really quick for me, one of my favorite things is just, you know, when I do exit the binding, I don't have things flopping around everywhere. So I liked how, I kept using the term, I just like how clean everything is. It's real in and out quick, no big deal there. Performance, no difference. Kick-ass performance binding. But just when you get out, you're not stepping on ratchets. There's not stuff flopping around. And I liked how clean everything was. When I was a guide, I always told everybody to do your damn bindings up because I didn't want anyone losing a ratchet, say when we were up at BALDFACE, and you're about to do the best run of your life and you don't have a ratchet, you're going to sit in the cat and go the way back down. So this was just another thing too where you're not going to lose componentry on the hill. And I've seen that happen a lot. You think it's silly, but it has happened a lot.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I mean, honestly, I haven't even thought about it anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
It's just a binding.
It's just a binding at this point. It's a great 2-strap binding that just has a slightly easier use for me. A little bit quicker to get in and out of. Getting in and out of it on a T-bar is like nothing. You know what I mean?
We do a lot of T-bar riding here too. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's quick. It's simple. And then yeah, just like hitting those flat bits, right? Getting out to push. It's convenient. You're in and out in a split second. And then back in for whatever you need to do if you're turning quick to jump into the trees or anything. So yeah, I've honestly just kind of completely forgotten about the fact that it's a phase system, and it's more just like it's a normal 2-strap binding that's just a bit quicker for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't really hit a downside yet.
Yeah. And in the Flex of all 4 models out there, this is our more freestyle oriented, or what I like to say is a little more surfy. I actually liked it for free riding because I like having that flexibility. But I don't know what the rating scale was, but it was a couple below the Jones and the Rome.
Totally.
Right
yeah.
around the Battalion one, I believe.
Yeah, we call it a 6 out of 10, right? So very middle of the pack as far as a binding goes. I think when you're looking at that as far as a binding goes, like that's pretty much your bread and butter. That's everyday use. That doesn't matter what you're doing. It'll still be there. It'll be responsive. Yes, you can go up the ladder. You can go down the ladder. Moving into future seasons, there will be more of these coming out as well, including some stiffer ones and some softer ones. So
well, I ran these on a good POW day on the Beta APX, and I had a great time. This binding was killer. And you're right. Halfway through the day, I didn't even think that, I was just riding a binding.
Totally.
Sure, it's phase, but it was just another binding. So
yeah,
kudos to the whole design process there, and it's just cool to see more things happening in the binding segment. It always is.
Yeah. So moving into, obviously boot integration, that's something that we're trying to kind of make a little bit simpler, but it still works, right? The phase system works for every single boot. Doesn't matter if you're riding a 10-year-old pair of Lashed or this season.
Yeah, it'll drop right in.
It'll still drop right in. You might just have to push a little bit harder to get in. You might have to lift a little bit harder to get out. But overall, it's still going to be super seamless. We just want it to be dumb seamless. We want it to be
Yeah,
like
this smooths it out, right?
it's like hot butter on a hot piece of bread or
Got it.
toast,
Got it.
right? You know?
Yes.
Yeah, this just makes it that much more smooth. It is really like it's clean. It's
Super
efficient.
cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. So that's good to know for upstairs. Right on, Reed. Well, that's, again, it's 30 years of 32. That's amazing. I'm starting to feel my age when I say things like that because I remember 95 and selling the boots in 95. So pretty awesome. Congrats, you know, obviously to the whole crew there, Soltech and everybody that's evolved now to the Nidecker group.
To the Nidecker group, yeah.
That now is, that now is heading up the whole 32 thing and bringing us, you know, amazing things like this, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, yeah, and even bigger stories. I'm sure you guys are hearing things, you know what I mean? Seeing things.
There's some other stuff coming down the pipe.
We'll have some videos that we're working on once some samples and demo boards show up, so.
Yeah, we're a day before Halloween right now, just for context. So yeah, it's there's some really exciting news from 32 coming. And well, Reed, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much
Appreciate
for coming on. Hopefully I'll be able to drag him on again. This has been fun. We've known each other a long time, and I want to bring more of the intellect of the reps to you guys because these guys are in it every day. Fawcett and I are testing a zillion brands and all over the place. It's really awesome to have someone like Reed in to talk specifically about really rad product that I just love to platform this stuff. It's 32's been great for us at Tribute since day one. We've carried it for 22 years now. And yeah, 30 years again. Pretty rad.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Totally.
So as always, we're brought to you by BALDFACE Lodge, Cole Headwear, Spiral Wax, This Is Coffee, James Brand Knives, Tribute Board Shop, Sanction all the way that way in Toronto. Our good pals, check out their website if we don't have what you're looking for. And I think that's everybody, so we'll see you on the next one.